Alright, I should be ready to start now. Right, booting up the game. Here we go. Probably just gonna have enough time for the trial for today, and that should be it. So, with that being said, it's time to face down the Twisted Samurai and defend Mr. Tenma here from a guilty verdict. Alright, here we go. Yeah, by using this Cords of Steel. You know, if only I figured out about these mic settings or mic filters sooner, I really would have tried using the Cords of Steel objection that popped up in the first case of the fourth game. Oh my god, just I can just imagine how that would be. So he's the antithesis to Athena. Yeah, so what we found, or what we got so far, we got the scroll, the sticker that she won't stop attaching to his forehead or to his face, the flower, special edition paper regarding the Timataro, a few diagrams that could definitely help. The statue, yes. The amazing, crime photo, mask that was recovered at the river. About the Nine Tails wrestler. JC's statement. And for whatever the fuck reason, the TV listings, but I know for a fact that we'll end up using it. Alright, here we go. Actually, hold on once. Oh, I don't get that. Okay, never mind. Court is now in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice Defense Team Leader is ready, Your Honor. I know that big booming voice anywhere, as chipper as ever, eh, Mr. Justice? But who is the young lady next to you? I'm Athena Sykes, Mr. Justice's junior partner and fresh out of law school. Well now, full of beans too, eh? Excellent. Makes an old man feel young again. Now for the prosecution. It appears the prosecution is not ready yet. Never fear, for I shall explain. It's a minor procedural complication, Your Honor. The prosecutor for this case is being escorted from prison as we speak. Prison? Oh yes, of course. I almost forgot that he is currently serving time.
Yup, Prosecutor Blackwell's an inmate. But even a convicted murderer still got a job to do and duties to perform.
I'm going to enjoy this one. Who's that with his back to us over there? That's him. I'm sure of it. Prosecutor Blackwell. Ahem. Is the prosecution ready? Enough jabbering. Get on with it already. Of course. Forgive me. Why are all the people related to this case so scary? Very well, Prosecutor Blackwell. Your opening statement, if you... What's the matter? Must we continue to further away time like this? It is alright there in the indictment. An opening statement would be pointless. Pointless? Oh, well... Looks like the cat, or in this case the prosecutor, has the judge's tongue. But we need an opening statement as an overview of the case at hand. Well then, your baldness, if it's so very important, why don't you do the honors? Who, me? There's a term for people who whine and fuss about how they need silly, useless things. And then they decide they no longer want them once it's theirs. A selfish old fool. Huh? Wait, was that the prosecution's opening statement? Old dotards such as you are a plague upon the young. I pity your poor grandchildren. Or is it great-grandchildren? All these years, I thought the opening statement was the prosecutor's job. But I suppose I could give it a try. Might be a nice change of pace. What? He actually fell for that. That must have been the power of suggestion Mr. Wright was talking about. Alright. The opening statement, huh? Let's see here. The victim was one Rex Kyubi, alderman of Ninetails Vale. And the defendant, Damien Timma, mayor of Timatown, is accused of his murder. And why, pray tell, was the mayor arrested? His prints were on the murder weapon. Plus, he had a motive, the elimination of the biggest roadblock to the municipal merger. The caretaker and the secretary, other potential suspects, both have alibis. And his daughter, who was also in the vicinity at the time of the incident, has no motive. So in a nutshell, I'd have to say the charges against the defendant are incontrovertible. Bravo, your baldness. Your years of experience shine bright like your head. Ho ho ho! Flattery will get you everywhere. He's playing Simon Says with the judge! Moving right along now, let's hear from our first witness for today, Detective Fulbright. Oh, yeah, him. Witness, please state your name and occupation. I am the detective assigned to this case, Bobby Fulbright. Oh, and I'll also be keeping tabs on old Blackwell Hill here. I also heard you would provide protection if it ever came to that. It would seem that I have been sorely underestimated. Wait, who's protecting who from what? Still, I truly believe anyone can turn their life around, even old Black. Fool, Wright. Save your platitudes for funerals. Get on with your statement. Ha 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 ha! That's the spirit. Justice must be swift and true. I see it in your eyes. There is hope for your rehabilitation and return to society. I will never give up on you. Prosecutor Blackwell doesn't seem to intimidate Detective Fulbright. Well, you know what they say, ignorance is bliss. Oh, so that's why Detective Fulbright was assigned to Blackwell. He's still oblivious. Alright, here we go. About the murder. Alderman Kyubi was murdered with a spear that had been on the wall. The fingerprints of the defendant, Damien Timma, were found on the murder weapon. At the time, Alderman Kyubi was asleep from a drug he unwittingly ingested. Mayor Timma attacked his helpless victim, impaling him like a human in a shish kebab. But the sudden pain jolted the victim awake, and he grabbed a statue and struck back. Alderman Kyubi had been slipped some kind of sleep-inducing drug. That's right! The accused was scared because the alderman was also a former pro wrestler. So he slipped him a drug to make sure he'd be out cold and defenseless. Here's the autopsy report to prove it. Cause of death: stabbed with a spear. Estimated time of death: around 3:20 p.m. The victim had been in a drug-induced slumber. Well, he was a former pro wrestler after all. That spear was probably nothing more than a mosquito bite to him.
Objection!
Not so fast. Don't try to brush it all off by saying the alderman had been a pro wrestler. He really expects us to believe he could fight back after being skewered by a spear. Never heard of the incredible feats of which a man is capable of in a pinch, have you? Like the samurai of yore, wrestlers can battle through intense pain. It sharpens their senses. I used to talk about it with a former wrestler I met in the clink. I don't know. It still sounds a little far-fetched. Does it now? Then perhaps we should test the theory on you with the edge of my blade. I didn't sign up for this. And so your life is spared. For now. Please let those shackles be made of titanium. I don't want to die. Haha! My investigations are as thorough as they are foolproof, or my name isn't Wright. I vow to resign immediately if I ever make a false arrest. The accused prints were on the weapon, and he's the one person without an alibi. Quite decisive evidence. Wouldn't you agree, your baldness? The defendant is sounding guiltier by the minute. He has the judge leaning towards a guilty verdict, and the trial just barely began. What's more, a curious rumor about the accused is making the rounds. They say he seeks the merger for the purpose of freeing Tenma Taro from his imprisonment. Truth be told, I can think of no real reason to show interest in that backwards bird. Perhaps he's a complete nutter and really does seek to release an imaginary demon. Either way, he is raving mad and more than capable of murdering the alderman. Your baldness. Please take a gander at those charms plastered across his cranium. I hear they're meant to keep him safe from possession by the demon Tenma Taro. Then again... perhaps he's already under the demon's spell. Behold! The lunatic appears poised to lunge at you at any moment. The rumors and quirks of Mayor Tenma have no relevance to this case. Besides, those charms on his head, they're just a fashion statement, I think. Come to think of it, such things don't seem relevant to the case, do they? The prosecution will refrain from dragging our client's reputation through the mud. Oh, what a dreadfully fearsome lass we have here. Whew. Thanks for that lifeline on Athena. Careful, Apollo. He has a judge dancing in the palm of his hand. Our suggestion is one of the more powerful tools in Simon Blackwell's arsenal. He's trying to manipulate everyone's impression to suit his objectives. This guy really is bad news. None other than this statue right here. Two yokai to be exact. On one side is the nine-tailed fox, and on the other, Tenma Taro. Quite interesting, if you think about it. It's as though this very case were rendered in art. The weapon used to bludgeon the mayor's blood was found on it, but no prints could be lifted.
Hold it! Hold it! Hold it!
Interesting.
Hold it! Hold it! Objection!
Detective Fulbright's testimony sounds airtight. No wonder he's so confident. No, he only thinks it's airtight. It's up to us to poke some holes in it. That part about the alderman fighting back sounds like a big hole waiting to be poked. And stop!
Objection!
No. Never mind. Okay, the only thing would be the statue, because again, there's no prints.
Objection!
There we go. Did the alderman really strike the mayor? What? Are you questioning my sense of justice? Your so-called justice needs to find itself a pair of legs to stand on. You claim the alderman struck back after the mayor put a spear through him? But the statue he supposedly used to defend himself creates a major hole in your theory. There are no fingerprints on this supposedly crucial piece of evidence, and if you look at the crime scene photo, you'll notice that the alderman isn't wearing gloves. Yes, I believe he is quite gloveless indeed. If he touched the statue with his bare hands, he should have left some fingerprints. Detective Fulbright, did you take that into account during your investigation? This can't be happening! Did I arrest the wrong man? You did it, Apollo. You knocked Detective Fulbright off his high horse. Well, it's just 1 point in our favor. Who do you suppose clubbed the mayor if it wasn't the alderman? Well, if it wasn't the alderman, that means someone else must have clubbed the mayor. You mean there was a third party there in the box chamber? Exactly. And this could be the big break we've been looking for. The least you could do is look at me while being dismissive. Your mind is as dull as an unhoned blade, Justice Dono. Justice Dono? He's been watching too many samurai flicks. It will take far more than that to cut down Simon Blackquill. A whelp such as you has no hope against my superior swordsmanship. This is a trial, not a sword fight, Prosecutor Blackquill. There is a perfectly good explanation for the lack of prints on the statue. You might recall that blood-stained cloth found at the scene of the crime. Well, it just so happens that the blood was the mayor's. So, what are you getting at? Hone your mind, boy. Why was there blood on that cloth? Solve that riddle, and you shall see that the hole you thought you found is but an illusion. Now, let's see. How was that cloth used? Was it used... If you look at the cloth, where the fuck was the cloth? Precisely. Bully for you, boy. Well, it was nothing. Hello, don't let us start manipulating you too. You just closed the hole for the prosecution. I did? I did. Right. That a statue wrapped in cloth will leave no fingerprints is as plain as day. But this also proves there are no holes in our theory of the alderman striking back. Oops. The weapon used to... Okay, wrapped in a large cloth, 2 pages. Now do you see how dull your mind is? I'll make sure to sharpen it next time. A particularly frightening inmate once told me that he always tenderly honed his blades before he went to work, like the samurai of yore. Actually, he was working in the prison kitchen at the time. Wait, so the inmate was a murdering samurai prison chef? I was kinda attached to that hole. Now what? Apollo, I just thought of something. If they didn't find anyone's fingerprints on the statue, who's to say someone other than the Alderman didn't hit the mayor with it? Why didn't I think of that? Anybody could have not left prints on it. Then who, pray tell, struck the mayor with the statue? Please, illuminate us with your wisdom, young lady. There's only one answer. The real killer. Prove the existence of this real killer, then. What evidence have you? Oh, I'll give you some evidence, alright. Athena, are you sure about this? To borrow your words, Apollo, I'm fine. Take a look at this. Black feathers and tracks allegedly from a yokai were found at the scene. I believe they're from the third party who struck the mayor with that statue. That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Objection!
No, Athena, you just lost what little credibility we had left. Ah! Sorry. Guess I got carried away. Sorry, Your Honor. It's just this kid's still, well, a kid. Ouch. You meanie. I'm reporting this to Mr. Wright. No, Your Honor. I believe they are a fabrication. The real killer wants us to believe some sort of monster murdered the Alderman. Why indeed? Ouch! This I'm not reporting to Mr. Wright. Hoy, fool Bright. Explain to his baldness what these brats are missing. You know, the who and why behind those feathers and tracks. What? You mean you can explain all that? Hahaha! Our investigative prowess is without equal. I'm starting to think I chose the wrong profession. Feathers and tracks. This entire case centers on one man's attempt to crush opposition to the municipal merger. Mayor Timma panicked when the amazing Nine Tails helped embolden the protesters. So he stoked the villagers' fears by fabricating a monster. The strange feathers and tracks he planted made it look like a yokai was the killer. Those feathers and tracks stoked the villagers' fears. Absolutely, he knew exactly how to prey on their superstitious minds. Those feathers only gave weight to the idea that the Alderman was slain by a demon. The accursed demon Temataro, that is. Temataro, the legendary demon locked away in the village's forbidden chamber. From a young age, the villagers are taught to fear the great black-feathered demon, and thus were they blinded to other, more plausible explanations.
Hold it!
Hold on for a second. Before we start letting our imaginations run wild, isn't there someone else that could be considered a suspect? On the day of the incident, there was a special event held at Kyubi Manor. And as part of this event, there was someone dressed in the likeness of Temataro. Obviously, this person is a much more likely suspect than any legendary demon.
Objection!
Dullard, you are playing right into the killer's mind games. What? Listen here. The feathers and tracks were merely red herrings. The villagers believed the murder to be the work of the real Timataro. However, the police believe that the person in the Timataro suit is the killer. Ah. The defendant sought to sow this confusion in order to deflect blame away from himself. However, he was knocked unconscious by the alderman. And thus, our mentally deficient mayor was caught red-handed at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Do you honestly believe Mayor Tima would do something so stupid?
Objection!
The evidence speaks for itself, Wright. Right! It was the mayor's last-ditch efforts to stop the opposition before things got crazy. The Amazing Ninetales was fueling both the yokai craze and the anti-merger movement. Plus, he's one of the better-known masked wrestlers and hometown favorite. That's why the mayor panicked and set out on the path of injustice. Yokai sightings are an everyday event here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Just so, a particularly silver-tongued inmate once had the following words for me. The innocent of heart are the easiest prey. No. He was framed for the murder of his beloved. I actually felt sorry for the poor chap. Wait, so he wasn't the predator, but rather the prey?
Hold it! Hold it! Hold it! Objection!
Your baldness has had an epiphany, I see. Blackmail letter. If you value your dearest's life, you will merge Ninetails Vale with Timma Town. Do not tell anyone about this threat. If you do, consider your dearest as good as dead. A frightening letter discovered in one of Alderman QB's pockets. Wright's claiming that the mayor killed the alderman after planting the yokai evidence, and that the mayor was knocked out cold immediately after that. Mayor Timma killed the sleeping alderman after planting the feathers and tracks. And stop! Detective Fulbright, your sense of justice is anything but fair! What's this? You dare question my justice again? Yes, and I'm going to prove it to you. Take a look at this photo. It proves when the feathers and tracks were planted. But I already told you they were planted before the murder. The defendant planted the yokai evidence, then was knocked out while killing his victim. But that would be impossible. If you look right here, it's clear when the feathers and tracks were left at the scene.
Take that!
Yes, see how the feathers are on top of the blood? And the tracks were made in blood? In other words, the yokai evidence could have only resulted after the murder. Then the mayor must have planted the evidence after killing the alderman. But you said it yourself, the mayor had been knocked unconscious thereafter. There would have been no time for him to plant any evidence at all. Therefore, there must have been someone else besides the mayor and the alderman at the crime scene. Ah! There must be some mistake! Where's your evidence? You can't possibly have any, can you? Ha ha ha! Evidence? Oh, I have evidence. In fact, I have an eyewitness's testimony for you. You do? But how? Was my vaunted sense of justice really just half-baked? He's taking this really hard. It was the demon Temataro. He's the source of those feathers and tracks. Will somebody please say something? You dare mock this court and justice itself? You're unfit to bear your name, boy. Your baldness. It appears our defense attorney here is delirious from exhaustion.
Hold it!
Apollo, think of something quick before you're held in contempt of court. What do you think I'm trying to do? Before you decide whether I should step down, please, hear me out. It's all in a statement here. Jinxie Tenma asserts that she saw Temataro. After she discovered the crime scene and called the police, she came around the corner in the hall. It was around here that she saw Temataro fleeing toward the foyer. The defense asserts that whoever was impersonating this monster is the one who left those feathers and tracks behind, intentionally or otherwise. How incredibly unjust! Why haven't I heard about this before? Apollo, the momentum has shifted in our favor. Good, now let's keep it that way.
Objection!
Little do you realize that though you are in the midst of a fray, your sword is broken. My sword? I didn't know I had one to break. Are you implying there's a problem with my claim? Consider this. If that yokai impersonator had indeed fled toward the foyer, that fool in that fop would have seen him. Fool and fop? Oh, you mean Filch and LaBelle. Now that you mention it. Both Phineas Filch and Florent LaBelle were in the foyer at the time, but they haven't stated that they saw a yokai, have they? Did you ever consider that yokai was but a figment of a scared little girl's imagination? Why didn't those two see the Temataro impersonator pass by? Why don't we ask them ourselves? I was just about to say that myself. No, really, I was. The defense would like to call Mr. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor, to the stand. I just know he must have seen something. I knew that Tanuki was a rare find. But when we captured him, I didn't think he'd end up a witness. Do with him as you will. Did he just say captured? No, wait. I don't want to know. The name's Filch. Phineas Filch, caretaker of QB Manor. Oh, and this is for you, your lordship. Just a little something I thought you might like. Ah, it's those shoes again. Don't they belong to Detective Fulbright? Don't tell me Filch stole them again. They're all yours, your honorship, sir. Yep, too expensive for me, but I reckon they'd be perfect for someone like you, your honorship. Aw, epic schmethics. Just take them if you want them. Polish them up real nice for you, too. Guarding the foyer. At the time of the murder, I was on guard duty in the foyer, just like Mr. QB asked. I was making sure no one, fair, foul, fishy, or otherwise, could get to our guests. I was still in my office keeping a good watch when the murder happened after 3 p.m. But I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary, no siree. That yokai you keep jabbering on about was but a phantom of a little girl's dreams. So, you're telling this court you never saw anyone dressed up like Timataro? Yep, was guarding the whole time. That's the truth, the holy truth, the nut of butter, the truth. And Timataro? You don't really believe in all that yokai mumble-jumbo, do you? I certainly don't. My bracelet. It's... Something the matter, Apollo? My bracelet keeps squeezing my arm. Really? So you think Mr. Filch has been lying to us? I wouldn't rule it out. Now, if I could just zero in on a tell, some sort of nervous habit. Ah! What in the... What's a hawk doing in here? Allow me to introduce my trusty cohort, Taka. He seems to have taken quite a liking to the courthouse, made it his new home, in fact. He actually cares for a nice little hawk. He doesn't live with you, you know, in jail. Who's ever heard of a courthouse bird? Taka simply loathes trickery and fraud, and that queer power of yours seems to have offended my dear bosom buzzard. This isn't some sort of trick or... I won't be able to spot squat like this. What the heck's going on around here? Run for the hills! Oh, he's merely having a bit of sport. He won't harm you, save when truly famished. Looks like we have to do this the old-fashioned way. We'll be fine, I think. If there was someone dressed up as Timataro there, Filch would have seen him. We'll just have to put our faith in Jinxie's statement for now.
Hold it!
I like how his eyes literally light up like that, like, damn.
Hold it!
Huh. There's a clear reason why that statement lit up. And it's because of that camera.
Hold it! Objection!
And stop. Don't lie to the court like that, Mr. Filch. Hey, it ain't right to bushwhack a fella like that. Unfortunately for you, I have evidence that proves you're lying. If you look at this TV listing here, you'll see that at the time of the crime, there was a pro wrestling match scheduled, something you'd never miss. Ah! I didn't watch that one. No, siree. I was doing my job just like I was supposed to. This guy doesn't know when to give up. Mr. Filch, someone even circled the match. It was you, right? Yikes! Not only that, you even told me you watch it. You said, and I quote, "It was a complete disaster." So, do you admit to slacking off? You can't trick me with your Rudy Poo lawyer talk. I'm one of them professional types too. I could do double duty, watching TV and the foyer at the same time. The only thing Filch can claim to be a professional of is professional thief. That's correct. He claims to have been watching TV and the foyer at the same time. But that's nothing but a bald-faced lie. Only thing of evidence is this diagram.
Take that!
Please take a look at the direction the TV is facing in the diagram. Now, unless Mr. Filch has eyes where his right ear should be, I think it would be impossible to watch the fire entrance and the TV at the same time. Exactly. And that means, Mr. Filch, you were slacking off and were not watching the foyer as you claim. Yikes! The backside of the cat. I mean, the other way around. It's very relevant because while he was slacking off watching TV, there really could have been a Timotaro impersonator in the foyer.
Objection!
What now? Granted, this Tanuki was lax in his duties, but he still had the foyer entrance covered. What are you talking about? This. I'm not a mime. Auditory sense. His eyes may have been slacking off, but his ears were still hard at work, right, Tanuki? They were? I mean, yes, they were. But you already admitted to slacking off, now you say you weren't? My eyes might be lazy, but my ears ain't. I would have heard anyone in the foyer. You see, the foyer's floor and stairway get all creaky and squeaky when someone walks on them. Creak, creak, creak. Loud enough to wake the dead, I reckon. So, you're saying you didn't hear anybody walk by? Yep, my ears were working full time, so who's the liar now, Mr. No-Good Shyster? A lying thief calling me a shyster. This has to be the low point of my fledgling career. Gotta hand it to you, Mr. Blackbill, sir. You really are something else. I mean, you don't miss a thing. And them bags under your eyes, they're darker than mine. Fair warning, Mr. Filch. Taka is particularly fond of Tanuki. Should you lie to this court again, you may suddenly find yourself on the menu. Yikes! Please don't eat me, Mr. Taka, sir. The witness will henceforth testify truthfully under penalty of painful bird attacks. And with that in mind, the court requests that the witness revise his testimony accordingly. Ears working overtime. It's true. I was watching a pro wrestling match while on the office TV. My eyes might have been slacking off, but my ears, they were working overtime. The floor there is all creaky squeaky like. No way I would have missed someone walking by. So you see, there weren't no Timotaro in the foyer. Superstition is the religion of feeble minds. Man, hit the nail right on the head with that one. Understand? A simple, rational explanation is best. Forget yokai, demons, and such. We must use common sense. For lacking that, our entire world will be but upside down. Says the convict prosecutor who is totally a sign of the end times for the legal world. And besides, if there were any yokai running in, I'd nab them and sell them to the zoo. I wonder whether Jinxie was just seeing things. That seems to be the general consensus, but I'm sticking to my guns. But if we can't prove she saw Timotaro, the mayor's sure to be convicted. Then we better hope my guns fire bullets, not BBs.
Hold it! Hold it!
If Timataro was to pass by, his staff would have gone jingle jangle.
Hold it! Hold it!
Do you think Jinxie was just seeing things? Well, if that's the case, the details she provided were pretty impressive. But if we're to continue believing Jinxie's statement, we'll have to uncover Filch's lie? Right, or find out why he can't tell the truth.
Objection!
And stop. Timataro's staff would make a jangly sound, you say? Well, I'm going to say that your story doesn't add up. Mr. Filch, you say that you didn't see Timataro on the day of the incident? Why then did you assume just now that Timataro will be holding a staff? Huh? You see, the Timataro Jinxie saw, yeah, sorry about that, let me start over. You see, the Timataro Jinxie saw held a staff in his hands, and she described its sound just as he did, as a kind of jangly sound. Yeah, so he was holding a staff, what's your point?
Objection!
The point is that Timataro doesn't use a staff, not normally. What are you talking about? You see, this is the only known document depicting Timataro. Is there a staff in that picture, Mr. Filch? You're right. Okay. I believe the answer will overturn the prosecution's case on the most basic level. Well now, this is getting interesting. Please tell the court why Mr. Filch believes Timataro carries a staff. Mr. Filch actually saw Timataro right after the crime occurred. That's the only way he could possibly know about the staff. Busted again! Bloody hell, you duplicitous little... Yes, how'd that feel, Black Quill? Read that one? You duplicitous little... Not so fun when you're on the receiving end of the blade, is it? Admit it, Mr. Filch. You did see Timataro that day, didn't you? Well? I'm begging you, please don't make me say it. But clearly you did see Timataro. Stop stalling and testify to that fact. No can do. No way, no how. You ain't got no idea how terrifying he could be. He? Mr. Filch still won't admit to seeing Timataro, even though everyone knows he did. The question now is why? Mr. Filch is scared to death. Is that why he can't admit the truth? Come to think of it... They say you okay. Jinxie wouldn't admit to seeing Timataro after hearing about the village superstitions. She said that if she told anyone that she had seen Timataro, he'd claim her soul. Wait, you think Filch believes that too? So Mr. Big Time City Stickler Lawyer has heard about him. Oh, sorry, City Slickler. Them old village superstitions. The people of Ninetales Vale believe some pretty strange things, and their superstitions may be the reason our witness here can't admit the truth. The truth that he really did see Timataro. Darn straight, that's why. It's all right here. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. Reading the superstitions. Do not gaze upon Timataro. Do not tell others if you see him. Ignoring the superstitions will cost you your soul. There is, however, one way to save it. Your immediate departure from the village. Freeing him will bring ruin upon the village. See, that's why us folks in Ninetales Vale can't talk about seeing Timataro. Superstitions that have been handed down generation to generation in Ninetales Vale. That clears up one mystery. The killer took advantage of the superstitions by wearing a Timataro costume. They knew that way no one could talk about him, so it was as if he never existed. The defense holds that this Timataro impersonator is the true killer.
Objection!
Superstitions, you say? What kind of a fool would actually believe such rubbish? And would that using some silly fairy tale could so easily expose the culprit? You'll need to come up with a more rational, common-sense explanation than that.
Objection!
Your common sense seems awfully narrow-minded to me, Prosecutor Blackwell.
Objection!
Try living in my world of narrow cells, mortal danger, and dark sleepless nights. There is no lack of superstitions in the clique, but few are those who truly believe in them.
Objection!
Well, the village superstitions are real enough to the people of Nine Tails Vale. Well, life or death superstitions might even make you a believer. You fool of a Tanuki. 2 times now your lies have cost me. Sorry. I promise not to do it again. Taka, my fine feathered friend, have at him. Yikes! He's gonna eat me alive! Head for the hills! Ah, he took off. That's certainly not something you see every day. Oh. What? His shackles. I'm too going to die. Justice Dodo, long has it been since I've been forced to draw my blade. You had best say your prayers. Detective, do something! Ha ha ha! Have no fear, Wright is here. When the going gets tough, the champion of justice gets going.
Objection!
Just objects his ass. Then get going already before he kills us! Oh, but I stand in awe of Simon Blackwell, for it is his sense of justice that set him free. Objection! Objection! I object to Detective Wright's definition of justice.
Silence!
Ooh, he called us silence. I'm not in the habit of cutting down unarmed cowards. Oh, well, in that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, can I ask you to, you know... I think the judge forgot he's in charge here. So, Justice Dono's assertion is this. Tenma Taro is the real killer, not Mayor Tenma. According to him, there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Right, and that yokai, or rather, whoever was impersonating him, killed Alderman Huey.
Silence!
Here to explain why Jinxie, being the first to discover the murder, did not see your alleged killer yokai there in the Fox Chamber? What? He's right, she said nothing about Tenma Taro being in the Fox Chamber. Let me enlighten you. That little scamp heard a dying scream right before she opened the chamber door. And your point is... Upon opening the door, she found a freshly skewered murdered victim, the alderman, skewed, and the homicidal maniac who had killed him, the mayor. No, there must have been some dressed up like... Then, why does that little scamp claim to not have seen a yokai in the Fox Chamber? Considering her father is accused of murder, Surely she would have mentioned any third party that might have been in the room. I don't understand. Why didn't she see Timotaro inside the Fox chamber? There is but one way to find out. Ask GC Timba whether she saw your killer yokai at the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. The final battle draws nigh. Only one of us will leave here alive. Long has my blade thirsted for blood. At long last, it shall be Satan. Wait, this is still a trial, right? Show me what you're truly capable of, Justice Dono. Very well then. Both parties no doubt need some time to regroup. So the court will take a 10-minute recess in order to... Ah! 3 minutes. I'm sorry, but a 3-minute recess? Just so. Plenty of time if your destination of intent is the loo. The loo? You mean the bathroom? Sheesh, at least include enough time to wash our hands. See that you take no more than 3 minutes. All latecomers will be punished. Yes, sir. I hereby declare a 3-minute recess before the battle begins. I declare Prosecutor Blackwell is the winner of this round, as Simon says. Doesn't bode well for us that the prosecutor is running the show, does it? Alright. Norari Heian, the leader of the 100 demons. He really does exist? Wow, that is one well-polished tray. The witness will show her face while in court, or her testimony will be inadmissible. What is it, my child? Be gone, Norari Heian, leader of 100 demons. Oh, you think I'm a yokai? Well, I was known as a judicial monster of sorts. Judicial monster? The beast of the bar, the demon of due process, if you will. My charm has no effect. The demon of due process? Not sure I could see that one. Now, you little scamp. Yes. I trust you know why you're here. Bags. Bags? Oh, that Trixie Canuxie? Try the noodle stand, and you'll enjoy a big bowl of tanuki tail noodles while you're at it. Everyone's a comedian. No, I meant your bags. The ones under your eyes. You must have trouble sleeping. Here, this charm will keep Azukira... oh my god. Azukira away. I have no idea how to say the name. The yokai that washes Azuki beans? The only thing needing washing will be your father's neck before I take his head clean off. He often keeps people up at night with the noise he makes washing beans. But if you stick this charm on your forehead, you won't hear him anymore. Is that so? Well, thank you. Looks like Prosecutor Blackwell got more than he bargained for. They're bad enough alone, but together those two are just plain creepy. What Jinxie saw? Did I see Timataro in the Fox Chamber? Well, when I opened the door, I saw, yes, now I remember. Yokai, right there in that room. So there was a yokai at the scene of the crime. Lots and lots of them. Wait, more than one yokai? Did Timataro happen to be among them? I don't know. I just don't know. All I know is that the room was swimming in yokai. Kasha, Yurikabe, Seto Taisho. They were all there. Well, this is an unexpected turn of events. We've gone from no yokai to a flood of them. This is ludicrous. You two would have this court listen to this delusional little scamp's testimony?
Hold it!
Your Honor, I believe her memory is simply clouded by fear, but a quick therapy session should ease your mind. With the court's permission, of course. What a fabulous idea. Please proceed, Miss Sykes. You sure you know what you're doing, Athena? She's obviously not herself. The trauma of discovering that crime scene, in fear of testifying, have her dazed and confused, a regular ball of confusion. But my analytical psychology-based approach should be able to help. Any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? Shall we let Miss Sykes proceed? It makes no difference to me. Do as you will, but I doubt we shall get any viable testimony. She better be served by bearing witness to the sword skills I forged in a distant land. I'll show you. Found something. Looks like an out-of-control emotion. Athena, what exactly are we looking at here? Oh, this? It's one of Widget's functions. Right here, you can see images and emotions extracted from the witness's voice. Whoa, you mean that little thing could do all this? Pretty cool, huh? And here, I thought it was just some kid's toy. Unfortunately, all I'm getting is an overflow error right now. See how sad is brightly lit there at the bottom left? She's under an uncontrollable amount of distress, which is masking her other emotions. It seems the sheer terror she experienced has made her a confused mess. So, all those yokai she thinks she saw are a product of rampant emotions. Yes, that's right. Her feel has instilled in her hallucinations and false memories. She's seeing normal everyday objects as monsters in her mind. It's a form of schizophrenic hallucination brought by an emotional trauma. And the trauma in Jinxie's case is fear. So she was and still is seeing ordinary objects as yokai. We'll have to find the root cause of her extreme fear before I can treat it. Now, let's see. Apollo, can you point out the yokai on the Wheel of Fire? She seems particularly terrified of that one. Start by pressing probe. Next, point to what's causing Jinxie's out-of-control emotion. Finally, hit probe again and try to get to the heart of the matter. Okay, let's give this a try.
Got it!
R. Whoops. Jinxie, what's the name for that yokai on a Wheel of Fire? That's Akasha, a yokai that steals the bodies of the recently deceased. I bet it came to steal the Aldermans. It's almost creepy how well that fits the actual situation. Exactly. It's a form of hallucination where the patient can't see things for what they are. There must be something at the scene of the crime that she's mistaking for Akasha. Apollo, you need to point out what she thought was a yokai on a Wheel of Fire. I got just the thing. I think I know the answer now. Jinxie, that wasn't Akasha you saw. Could you have possibly mistaken this for Akasha?
Take that!
This is what you mistook for Akasha. What? That thing? No? Oh. Oops.
Take that!
The light fixture? This one right here. It has a plain design and is up there on the ceiling. There was never a yokai on the Wheel of Fire. The Akasha you saw was just a light fixture. Yeah. That's one memory back to normal. Nice job. Now that you got the hang of it, it should be essential to point out the rest. Jinxie, what about this white wall-like monster? That's... Nurikabe. It's a wall monster that blocks your way or leads you astray. That's no yokai, Jinxie. It's a folding screen. Eek. And this raccoon dog isn't a tanuki monster. It's just a statue of one. And look, these are just coffee cups. And this right here is nothing more than a fox statue. I don't know what I was thinking. Wait, why the fuck did the plate just repair itself? You did it, Apollo. Her extreme fear is under control now. It was all just my eyes playing tricks on me. It wasn't any yokai after all. See? A clear-cut statement. That's the power of my psychology and your intuition, Apollo. And just like we thought, there never really were any yokai in the Fox Chamber. Right. There never really were any yokai there. So the defense is asserting the exact opposite of their original assertion. Wait, Jinxie, what about Timataro? There wasn't anyone there dressed up as Timataro, or any of the yokai either. I remember it clearly now. You've gotta be joking! I think we just dug our own grave. Allow me to push you on in. It's the least I can do. No! Apollo, can I interrupt or freak out for just a minute? I'm still picking up some noise. It's an unexpected emotion. Does that mean Jinxie hasn't remembered everything yet? Exactly. We should be able to get something else out of her. I'll enter the new information we have and run an update. Wait, what am I supposed to do? Try to find the emotions that contradict her statements. So if I find a contradictory emotion, I should point it out. That's right, but it's not just contradictory emotions you should look out for. You should also keep an eye out for sudden changes in an emotion's intensity. Her emotions might get stronger or weaker as you move on from statement to statement. It's important to compare how the same emotion changes throughout the testimony. Contradictory emotions and changes in intensity? Okay, I'll give it a shot.
Got it! Got it!
No, that ain't it.
Got it!
The amount of fear you felt is rather low despite your legs having given out from fright. Could something have lessened your fear? Actually, I did experience a sudden burst of courage at that moment. You did? Where did it come from? Let me think. Oh, it was Mama. I suddenly felt as though she were there with me. Sorry, whoops. Okay, I'll enter sudden burst of courage. Now, let's see. Ah, look. Apollo, the noise is all gone. Casey seems to have remembered everything now. A sudden burst of courage. Now, where could that have come from? Jinxie, was there something that gave you a sudden burst of courage? Yes, there was. But, I realized I had done something naughty when I thought about it later. Any idea what could have given Jinxie that courage? Well, there is one piece of evidence that comes to mind. I wonder if she saw something like it at the scene of the crime. Jinxie, did your sudden burst of courage have anything to do with this?
Take that!
Could it have been... Nope. The evidence for citizens... Okay, whoops. Wait, what the fuck could it have been?
Take that!
Okay, now you're just fucking confusing me.
Take that!
If I'm going down the list, I fucking will.
Take that!
Okay, what the fuck am I missing here? I'm supposedly missing something, and that usually means Capcom did not do a good job.
Take that!
Fuck it, I'm going down the list.
Take that! Take that! Take that!
You gotta be fucking kidding!
Take that!
Jinxie, you didn't happen to see a Ninetales flower there at the scene, did you? The demon lawyer strikes again. I can't hide anything from you. I found a small case with a picture of a Ninetales flower on it. I liked it so much, I kept it. You what? You can't remove evidence from a crime scene! That's right, young lady. Removing evidence is a big no-no. Now, the witness will produce said evidence this instant. Sorry. It does seem to be some sort of case. Oh, look, something slid out. It appears to be a key. Might I have a look, baldness? Ah, this is none other than the master key to the Kyubi Manor. Are you certain of this, Prosecutor Blackwell? It matches the serial number of the key that went missing after the murder. A master key that went missing? Why don't I like the sound of that? Our little scamp here has stumbled upon an article of unimaginable consequence. That's a little melodramatic, don't you think? Heed these words, for I shall say them but once. The sole key to the Fox Chamber has been in this little scamp's constant possession. Ergo, she was the sole person who could use it before, during, and after the murder, which leaves the master key as the only other key that could have opened the chamber. But this master key was found in a room that had been locked by this girl. And your point is, until Jinxie Tenma opened the Fox Chamber with her key, the room had been locked tight from the outside world.
And there was no one else in there save the victim and his killer. I trust you have figured it out for yourself by now. A killer other than Mayor Tenma herself would be utterly inconceivable. No!
Objection!
How could this happen? Ugh. Athena, are you alright? I know Mayor Tim is innocent, but there's nothing we could do. This sucks. Sucks, Dono. Allow me to put you out of your misery. Can I decline your offer? Abandon your client in your misplaced faith in him. Let the relief of a clear head and a clean conscience come rushing in. That will make the inevitable guilty verdict far easier to accept. Great, now he's playing Simon Says with us. Oh, is that gonna fool us with the stupid mind games? Athena, don't fall for his tricks. Now I'm the one who's dazed and confused. I can't even think straight. Hey, are you alright? She fell right into his trap. Now, I suggest you make a mad dash from the courtroom and into the wild blue yonder. Only by running shall your mind be cleared and your conscience cleansed. Alright, I'll be back in 10. Stay with me, Athena. Don't let yourself be twisted by that samurai. Apollo? Oh, right. That objection was more of a reflex than anything else. Though, I was hoping something would come to me while I was trying to stop Athena. Well, actually, I do. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. Apollo, do you have something more than your cores of steel, don't you? Not really, but we'll be fine. But... I've got absolutely nothing, but that's never stopped me before. I have to explain how the real killer could have escaped that locked room. Because it's all over if I don't. Apollo, this calls for a new approach. Try to think outside the box. Or in this case, inside the box. What a doozy that locked room is, too. Well, Mr. Justice? Do you have anything that can counter the prosecution's argument? You bet I do. The real killer must have escaped from the locked room one way or another. Vague conjecture shall only earn you a taste of my blade, Justice Dono. Time to do or die. Literally. The defense will now explain how it would be possible to escape the locked room. You're sure about this, Apollo? Can you really explain what happened? I'm fine. We just need to think this whole escape in a locked room thing over from the beginning. So, let's see. If the killer had escaped, how could they have done so? The choices are pretty limited. The room has a window, but it doesn't open wide enough for anyone to get through, and there's a sheer cliff outside. As for the air vent, it's not too high, and there's nothing you could stand on to reach it. And needless to say, the Forbidden Chamber wouldn't open no matter what we did, so that's out. Yeah, that's why we gotta keep the solution simple. Like they say, simple is best. We need to rule out all of the absolutely impossible escape routes. Then, whatever is left just might lead us to how the Fox Chamber was compromised. Your Honor, the defense proposes that the killer escaped through here. Oh, I'm glad to see they finally fixed that.
Take that! Take that! Take that!
The only other way would have been the air duct, but again,
Take that! Take that!
Alright, this case is getting annoying.
Take that! Take that!
See, here's the thing, right? Because, there was a newspaper article regarding the fucking Timataro.
Take that!
You're really not giving us a lot of options. Yeah, that's the only way he could have escaped, and I could have swore I fucking hit that area the first time! Fuck this case! It would appear you've already forgotten. The only available key until GC Timma came on scene was within that locked room. How would one exit the Fox Chamber and then lock it without a key, I should have seen this coming. Remember, Apollo, keep it simple. Simple, right. I could understand if the killer had exited the room with the key, but... Well, Mr. Justice, the prosecution has some fine Japanese steel waiting unless you explain yourself quickly. I'm fine. I can explain myself. The reason the Fox Chamber's hallway door was locked was because... What if the room was locked from the outside? In other words, the killer took the key through the hallway door, then... Ouch! Consider this, the master key was found inside the tightly locked Fox Chamber. Any assertion that the key was removed from that room is a blatant contradiction of fact. Exiting the room before locking the door would require taking the key outside, but the key was found inside the room, which does seem like a contradiction. If only we can explain both. Like, how the key could be inside the room and be used to lock the door from the outside. Well, let's see if the defense can respond before Prosecutor Blackfield draws his sword. How could the master key be at the crime scene despite the room being locked tight? What if someone threw it into the room from outside, you know? Something like go out the hallway door, lock the room, and then toss the key back in through the window? That would explain how the master key could be locked inside, inside the locked room. And where would you throw it from? There's a cliff outside the Fox Chamber's window. Throwing the key in from there is an impossibility. Oh, right. I wonder if the key could have been tossed in from somewhere other than the window. Somewhere other than the window. Could the key have been tossed in through somewhere other than the window?
Take that!
The air vent? Yes, the window may be out of the question, but the air vent's not. Oh, that's right. The Fox's Chamber's air duct leads out into the hallway. That's right. The real killer entered the air duct from the vent outside the Fox Chamber. Then dropped the key into the room through the vent inside the chamber. That's preposterous. Ooh, that explains how the key got in there after it was used to lock the door perfectly. Mr. Justice, I'm afraid I'm a bit confused. Don't worry. I'll explain it even so Your Honor can understand. First, the real killer disguised as Tim Mataro murdered the alderman in the Fox Chamber. Then, they fled the room through the hallway door and locked it. Next, they entered the air duct from the vent outside in the hallway. Finally, the killer tossed the key into the room through the air vent in the ceiling there. All that was left to do after that. All that was left to do after that was go back through the duct and flee the manor. Well, Your Honor, could that be any clearer? The judge seems really pleased. That explains everything. The real killer was someone dressed up like Tim Mataro, and it was someone else other than the mayor and the alderman in that room. Now that I've proved a possible third party, I don't see how our client could be found guilty.
Silence!
A valiant effort, Justice Dono, but your final thrust missed its mark. Huh? Both that little scamp and the tricksy Tanuki saw the yokai after it left the room. But then what? Did that irksome yokai simply go through the foyer and waltz right out the front door? That's exactly what happened. The killer fled from— Ouch! But that's impossible, without being spotted by the foyer's security camera, that is. The electric eye here would have captured that any pesky little yokai trying to escape. However, there is no sign of Timataro anywhere in the security footage. What? Save for the foyer entrance, there is no other way to flee the manor, is there? I don't feel so good.
Hold it!
Wait, I believe there is one other way to escape besides the foyer entrance. There's a large window in the foyer. It's possible to escape through there without being seen by the security camera. Hey, you're right.
Silence!
Must I point out every crucial detail to the defense? It seems you lack not only brains, but investigative prowess to boot. That is the cliffside of the manor. The only killer escaping that way would be a dead one. No! Wait, so the killer didn't escape out the foyer window? What the heck, right? I suppose your next proposal is the killer sprouted wings and flew off into the sunset. Actually, yes. That would mean the killer really was a yokai. If only we had some sort of evidence that could point to a flying killer. Who's saying we don't? As completely far-fetched as it might be. What? You're saying you could prove the killer could fly? Whoa, I thought I was the one with the cords of steel. Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Your Honor? What evidence do you have that the killer flew away?
Take that!
Take a look at this special edition paper. Tenmataro, real or flight of fancy? What does this article prove, Mr. Justice? The photo in that article was taken shortly after the murder. Maybe the yokai in that photo is the killer shortly after they fled out the window. Mr. Justice, you're not seriously suggesting... Oh, I'm serious. I mean, it all adds up. The killer disguised as Timataro flew away. You know, by some way or another.
Silence!
It is your brain that has flown the coop. That image is not but trick photography or some other form of artifice. Okay, then how about the Timataro figure Mr. Filch saw? It just vanished into thin air? No, there is a rational, common-sense explanation for that. That infernal yokai our tricksy Tanuki witness never reached the entrance. He, or should I say she, turned back before the camera's electric eye. She? I don't like where this is going one bit. Now, the fact that we know the yokai had come from the Fox Chamber means that it was likely either Mayor Damien Timma or his daughter, Jinxie Timma. However, we know that Mayor Timma was already unconscious at that time. Not good. Not good at all. Do you understand the gravity of the situation now, Justice Dono? The falsified yokai remnants and the appearance of Timataro were the work of one individual. And that individual is none other than Jinxie Timma.
order, the defense will stop competing for the greatest freakout ever.
The little scamp was, no doubt, simply trying to protect her father. And it's no wonder that her superstitious mind conjured up this mad masquerade. Prosecutor Blackwell's assertion makes perfect sense to me. It's far more convincing than saying the killer escaped by flying out the window. Did you truly believe this could end any other way? Did we fall right into his trap? What do we do now, Apollo? Our case no longer stands without a real yokai, if only we had one. Bailiff, Caesar, it's time I interrogated her as the samurai of your wood. Who called it? Him. Mayor Tenma. This farce is over. How does it feel seeing your own daughter accused of a cover-up most foul? Tenma Taro's true identity is... Now, Mr. Mayor, it would be futile at this point to claim you were the yokai. After all, he had been knocked out cold by a blow to the skull. Slipping into a yokai costume and roaming about the manor would be all but impossible. Consider this well. As it stands, your daughter will be arrested for obstruction of justice. But if you confess, the prosecution will be willing to overlook her little yokai face. Confess? The defendant intends to confess? Wait. Oh, Prosecutor Blackwell's up to his mind games again. Mayor Tenma, no, don't fall for his twisted words. If you're sent away for murder, Jinxie will be left all alone. The real killer is... Mayor Tenma's gonna confess unless we do something. But I can't prove how the real killer could have flown away. Look upon me in despair, for ripe is the time for my return. Uh-oh. I should watch what I wish for. Foolish mortals. I am Tenma Taro, the yokai you seek. Mayor Tenma? Silence! I am Tenma Taro, freed from the bonds binding me to the Forbidden Chamber. Behold, the return of the Demon King. What the... Demon King? Well then, I think it's time for me to... take a vacation! The witness will... he will explain himself. Are you saying you're Tenma Taro, the yokai we've been chasing this whole time? Indeed, it is I, Tenma Taro, the one whom you seek, come to reveal the truth. This child is Tenma Taro, you say? What nonsense. So, Mayor Tenma is a yokai now? His body is now mine. So you're saying that Mayor Tenma is being possessed by you? And that the yokai that Jinxie, Tenma, and Phineas Filch saw, and the one captured in the newspaper photo, those are all you? The accursed power of these warding charms prevents me from revealing my true form. Your boldness. Can this not be interpreted as an admission of guilt? Well, a confession by a yokai would be quite unprecedented. Be that as it may, the defense's case has been overturned. Huh? What? You claim the yokai that little scamp saw was some third party, the true killer? The one who escaped from the locked box chamber, but it was the accused all along. I Ironic, is it not? Your yokai turned out to be real, in a manner of speaking. For the Alderman's killer is none other than Mayor Tenma. And the yokai at the scene? That too was Mayor Tenma, or should I say, our dear Tenma Taro. The pieces have all fallen into place. How so, Prosecutor Blackwell? It seems I must spell it all out for you. Mayor Tenma killed the Alderman in the Fox Chamber, which is locked at the time. He then removed the warning charms from the Forbidden Chamber's door, but then fell unconscious from the blow the Alderman had delivered to his head. That's when his daughter, Jinxie Tenma, stumbled on the scene of the crime. The little scamp fled in terror, whereupon the spirit of Tenma Taro, freed at last from the charm's warding effect, took possession of the mayor. The newly freed Tenma Taro then fled from the Fox Chamber. So you see, the yokai Jinxie Tenma saw was her father possessed by Tenma Taro.
Objection!
But when we arrived on scene, the mayor was found unconscious. How is that possible if he was supposed to have flown out the foyer window? Then what? You mean to say the maid at Kyubi Manor, Jinxie Tenma, was Tenma Taro? Oh. That too is easily explained. Flew about for a time that I, but presently tired, I made for the Forbidden Chamber. But alas, exhaustion took me unaware as in the Fox Chamber, and I knew no more. It would seem the pieces are still in place. Is Blackwell up to his tricks again? I don't know what to say. Is the defendant a real life? He's got everyone in the courtroom believing in yokai. It's Simon Says on steroids. He wants to convict our client any way he can, even if it means blaming a yokai. That proverbial ducks are all in a row. You should now have no qualms about finding the accused guilty, your baldness.
Objection!
Mayor Tenma is just pretending to be Tenma Taro to protect his daughter. Plus, I already proved how a third party could have escaped from the locked room. A verdict at this point will be premature.
Silence!
This is the dark age of law where defense attorneys are not to be trusted. This is but a ploy to gain time for them to fabricate evidence. How will I sleep tonight? Knowing you will not let the sun rise on the mayor's day of reckoning, Justice Dono.
Objection!
I won't fabricate any evidence.
Silence!
Then prove it by joining me. A night in the clean will ensure you will not succumb to temptation. How about I just promise not to succumb to anything? We have both evidence and a confession. The killer is this yokai before us. It is beyond dispute. A guilty verdict is all... What's wrong with him? Prosecutor Blackwell, we've had enough of your hijinks. The foundation of justice is fair play, and you are in serious violation of that. What in the devil was that? Oh, Wright, have you tampered with my shackles in some manner? It seems you found that quite shocking. It's my special Jolt of Justice device. Each press is a shocking reminder to behave. You shall pay for this. Simon... Your Honor! You need not fear now. I believe Prosecutor Blackwell will remain on his best behavior. A bit late with the reassurances, aren't we, Detective? Well, in that case, this concludes today's deliberations. The prosecution and defense will use this opportunity to further their investigations. This court is adjourned. I had a feeling it was going to take about 2 hours. We'll resume with the investigation later. I gotta go. Y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all, I think, likely tomorrow, but I still got a lot of things that I need to do tonight, so I might actually hold off for a day. We'll see. Later.